What if the secret to maintaining your independence well into your 70 seconds, 80 seconds, and beyond wasn't hidden in a gym membership? What if it wasn't about lifting heavy weights, sweating profusely, or enduring high-intensity workouts that leave your joints screaming? The conventional wisdom about fitness after 50 is, quite frankly, failing us. We are told to walk more, maybe join a water aerobics class. And while these are better than nothing, we are told to walk more. Foundational movements that dictate how well we age. They ignore the silent decline happening deep within our neuromuscular system. Have you noticed it? That slight hesitation when you first get out of bed in the morning? The way your back feels stiff and brittle until you've had a hot shower. Or perhaps you've caught yourself reaching for the armrest just to get up from a comfortable chair. A movement that used to be effortless. These aren't just isolated incidents. They are warning signals. They are your body telling you that the deep, stabilizing muscles, the silent heroes of your mobility, are beginning to atrophy. And the consequences of overlooking these signals are severe. It starts with stiffness, progresses to chronic pain, and too often ends in a catastrophic fall, hospitalization, and the devastating loss of independence. This is the trajectory of passive aging. But there is another path, a path of aging smarter, not harder. A path focused on vitality and functional strength. The truth is, the most extraordinary improvements in how your body feels don't come from complex routines. They come from deceptively simple, intentional movements performed consistently. These movements revitalize the brain-body connection, activate forgotten muscles. Intentional movements performed consistently. In this guide, I'm going to walk you through 5 elite-level morning movements that you will absolutely regret overlooking if you are over 50. These require zero equipment and just a few minutes of your time. But the impact on your longevity is a game changer. And make sure you stay until the end, because movement number 5 is perhaps the most misunderstood concept in senior fitness. And make sure you stay until the end. Before we get started, drop your name and where you're watching from in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. Let's begin with the first movement, the spinal segmentation wake-up call. Why is this so crucial? We often think of the spine as a single, solid rod, but it's a complex structure of 33 vertebrae, and each segment is designed to move independently over time. Due to sedentary habits, inflammation, and gravity, these segments begin to fuse in their movement patterns. When your spine moves as a block instead of a fluid chain, it creates immense pressure points, usually in the lower back, lumbar spine, and the neck cervical spine. Morning stiffness isn't just a nuisance, it's an indicator that the synovial fluid, your body's natural lubricant, has settled overnight. This movement is designed to gently pump that fluid back into the joints and, more importantly, to reawaken the neuromuscular pathways between your brain and the tiny muscles surrounding each vertebra. Functional medicine emphasizes that spinal mobility is directly linked to nervous system health. Your spinal cord is the information superhighway of your body. When the casing around that highway, your spine is compromised, the signals become fuzzy. This leads to poor coordination, slower reflexes, and chronic pain. This leads to poor coordination and chronic pain, slower reflexes, regardless of chronological age. These are not the big muscles you see in the mirror. Research consistently shows that maintaining spinal flexibility is one of the key biomarkers of youthfulness. Here is how you perform the spinal segmentation wake-up call. They are the silent heroes of a healthy back. You can do this seated on the edge of your bed or standing. Start by sitting or standing tall. Imagine a string pulling the crown of your head toward the ceiling. R. Take a slow, deep breath in. San. As you exhale slowly. R. Feel the stretch in the back of your neck. S. Now, the crucial part. Continue rolling down, one vertebra at a time. Continue rolling down. Your shoulders roll forward, your upper back rounds, then your mid-back. Woo! Move slowly. This is not about speed, it's about intention. Try to feel each segment moving. You may notice areas that want to move as a block. Pause there and breathe into that stiffness. Leber lil. Continue rolling down until your lower back begins to gently round. Do not push into pain. If you are seated, you are simply rounding over your lap. If standing, Let your arms hang heavy with a soft bend in your knees. C. Pause at the bottom and take a full breath, feeling your ribs expand sideways. Ba. To come back up, reverse the process. Tuck your pelvis slightly and start restacking your spine from the bottom up. Your lower back rebuilds. Then the mid-back. The shoulders roll back and down. And finally, your head lifts. Joe, repeat this sequence 5 times. The real-life benefits are profound. You'll notice less lower back pain when transitioning from sitting to standing. You'll find it easier to turn your head to check your blind spot while driving. And you will immediately feel more awake and energized as your nervous system comes online. A pro tip for this movement: visualize the space between your vertebrae expanding as you move. This visualization enhances the brain-body connection and improves the effectiveness of the movement. Now we move to the second movement, the longevity hinge. If I could only teach one movement pattern to individuals over 50, it would be the hip hinge. Why? Because the inability to hinge correctly is the primary cause of debilitating lower back injuries in seniors. Every time you bend over to pick up a grocery bag, tie your shoe, or lift your grandchild, you have a choice. You can bend using your spine, or you can hinge using your hips. Bending with the spine places enormous compressive forces on the delicate disc of the lumbar spine. Over time, this leads to disc degeneration, sciatica, and chronic pain. Hinging, on the other hand, utilizes the most powerful muscles in your body, the glutes and the hamstrings. These muscles are designed to handle heavy loads and generate power. The longevity hinge is a deceptively simple movement designed to repattern your body to use these powerful muscles while keeping your spine in a safe, neutral position. The validation for this movement is overwhelming. Studies have repeatedly shown a strong correlation between glute strength and overall mortality risk in older adults. Strong glutes are essential for balance, walking gait, and metabolic health. Yet, in our modern, chair-bound society, most people suffer from what is known as gluteal amnesia. Their brain has forgotten how to activate these crucial muscles. The longevity hinge is the antidote. We are activating the gluteus maximus, the hamstrings, and the core stabilizers, which have to work isometrically to maintain a neutral spine. Here's how to execute the longevity hinge. Yi. Stand with your feet hip-width apart. Keep a very slight, soft bend in your knees. They are not locked, but they are not squatting either. R. Place your hands on the creases of your hips, where your legs meet your torso. San. Take a breath in. Place your hands on the creases of your hips. Imagine you are trying to push a door closed with your backside. Push your hips backward. S. As your hips move back, your torso will naturally come forward as a counterbalance. Wu. The crucial element. Maintain a flat back. Your spine should remain neutral from the top of your head to your tailbone. Do not let your lower back round or arch excessively. Leo. You should immediately feel a stretch and activation in your hamstrings, the back of your thighs, and your glutes. If you feel it in your lower back, you are bending, not hinging. C. Hinge forward until your torso is roughly parallel to the floor, or until you feel the limit of your hamstring flexibility. Ba. Pause for a moment, consciously squeezing your glutes. Jumper 2. To return to the starting position, drive your hips forward and squeeze your glutes powerfully, bringing your torso back upright. Sure. Repeat for 10 repetitions. The real-life benefits are a game changer. Drive your hips forward and squeeze your glutes powerfully, bringing your torso back upright. Sure. You will reduce the chronic ache in your lower back. A pro tip: facing away from it. Try to touch the wall with your backside by pushing your hips back without bending your knees too much. This provides tactile feedback and ensures you are moving backward, facing away from it. Let's move on to the third movement, the postural reset. We live in a world that constantly pulls us forward and downward. We hunch over phones, computers, steering wheels, and dinner tables over decades. This chronic forward slump becomes etched into our posture. The muscles in the front of the body, the chest, the shoulders, the hip flexors become tight and shortened. The muscles in the back of the body, the upper back, the spinal stabilizers, the glutes become weak and lengthened. This imbalance is not just an aesthetic issue, it compresses your internal organs, reduces your lung capacity, and places immense strain on your neck and shoulders. It contributes to that feeling of frailty and instability. The postural reset is an extraordinary isometric movement designed to counteract this slump. It simultaneously stretches the tight muscles in the front and activates the weak muscles in the back. It anchors your body and reminds your nervous system what true alignment feels like. The importance of a strong posterior chain, the muscles along the back of your body, cannot be overstated for longevity. In cultures where people maintain high levels of physical activity well into old age, such as the Okinawan elders in Japan, they maintain strong posterior chains through activities like gardening and walking on varied terrain. The postural reset brings this elite-level activation into your morning routine. We are activating the entire posterior chain, the upper back rhomboids and trapezius, the spinal erectors, the multifidus, the glutes, and the hamstrings. Here is how to perform the postural reset. E. Stand with your feet slightly wider than hip width apart. Turn your toes slightly outward. This provides a stable base. R. Perform a very slight longevity hinge, pushing your hips back just a few inches. San. Now, reach your arms out in front of you, palms facing up. Draw your shoulders down and back, away from your ears. Feel your upper back muscles engage. Su. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, sweep your arms back behind you as far as comfortable. Turn your palms outward, as if you are trying to press your hands against two imaginary walls on either side of you. Woo. As your arms move back, gently press your hips forward, counteracting the initial hinge. You should be standing tall, but powerfully engaged. Leo. Hold this position. You should feel the muscles in your upper back contracting, your chest opening, and your glutes engaged. C. Keep your neck long, looking straight ahead. Do not crank your head back. Ba. Hold this isometric contraction for 20 seconds. Ba. Feel the tension building in the back of your body. Do. After 20 seconds, slowly release the tension and return to a relaxed standing position. Repeat 2 times. The real-life benefits are immediate. You will feel taller and more open. You will breathe easier. Over time, this movement will help correct the forward slump, reducing neck pain, tension headaches, and improving your overall sense of confidence and vitality. A pro tip: focus on the feeling of your shoulder blades pulling together and down. Imagine you are trying to tuck your shoulder blades into your back pockets. This ensures you are activating the correct muscles in the upper back and not just straining your neck. Now we come to the fourth movement, one that is almost universally overlooked but absolutely critical for balance: the anti-fall ankle mobilization. When we talk about balance and fall prevention, most people immediately think about the core or the hips. And while these are important, the first line of defense against a fall starts at the ground level: your ankles. If you are over 50, chances are your ankles are stiff. Specifically, most people lack adequate dorsiflexion, the ability to pull your toes up toward your shins. When your ankles cannot move freely, your body has to compensate further up the kinetic chain. When your ankles cannot move freely, hip pain, and, most importantly, an unstable gait. Stiff ankles mean that when you encounter an uneven surface, a crack in the sidewalk, a thick rug, or a step, your body cannot react quickly and efficiently to maintain balance. Your center of gravity shifts, and before you know it, you are falling. The statistics are sobering. According to the CDC, falls are the leading cause of injury-related death among adults aged 65 and older, and the fear of falling often leads to reduced activity, which in turn leads to further weakness and an even greater risk of falling. It's a vicious cycle. The anti-fall ankle mobilization is designed to restore flexibility and proprioception, your body's awareness of where it is in space in the ankle joint. This is a game changer for stability. We are mobilizing the ankle joint and stretching the calf complex, gastrocnemius, and soleus, while activating the tibialis anterior, the muscle in the front of the shin. Here is how to perform the anti-fall ankle mobilization. E. Stand facing a wall or the back of a sturdy chair for support. R. Step 1. Foot back behind you. keeping that leg straight and the heel firmly planted on the ground. San. The front leg will have a bend in the knee. S. Lean your body weight forward, keeping your back heel down. You should feel a strong stretch in the calf of the back leg. Woo. Now, woo. Slowly rock forward and backward. As you rock forward, deepen the stretch. As you rock back, release the tension slightly. Low. Do not bounce. The movement should be slow and controlled. C. Perform 10 slow rocks on this side. Bye. Now, we target the deeper calf muscle. On the same side, bring the back foot slightly closer to the front foot and put a slight bend in the knee of the back leg. Keep the heel down. Dinner. Repeat the slow rocking motion. The stretch will feel deeper and lower, closer to the ankle. Sure. Perform 10 slow rocks in this position. Shi. Switch legs and repeat the entire sequence on the other side. The real-life benefits are extraordinary. You will feel more grounded and stable when walking, especially on uneven surfaces. You will find it easier to climb stairs. And most importantly, you will significantly reduce your risk of a catastrophic fall, preserving your independence and confidence. A pro tip: make sure your toes on the back foot are pointing straight ahead, not turned outward. This ensures the stretch is directed through the center of the calf and ankle joint. And finally, we arrive at movement number 5, the one I teased earlier. It is the bedrock of core stability and spinal health, yet it is almost completely misunderstood. The deep core activator. When most people think of core training, they think of crunches, sit-ups, or planks. But here's the truth. Many of these conventional exercises are actually detrimental for individuals over 50, especially those with pre-existing spinal issues or osteoporosis. They create excessive flexion and compression in the spine. True core strength is not about having a six-pack. It is about the ability to create internal stability and manage intra-abdominal pressure. It is about activating the deep, foundational muscles that support your spine from the inside out. The Deep Core Activator focuses on the two most important, yet forgotten, components of core stability: the diaphragm and the transverse abdominis TA. The diaphragm is the primary muscle of respiration, located at the base of the rib cage. The transverse abdominis is the deepest layer of abdominal muscle, wrapping around your torso like a natural corset or weightlifting belt. When these two muscles work in synergy, they create an incredibly stable foundation for all movement. Elite-level rehabilitation programs and functional medicine practitioners prioritize TA activation because research shows it is the first muscle that should engage before any movement occurs. If the TA is weak or inhibited, which is extremely common after 50, the body will rely on the superficial abdominal muscles or the lower back to create stability. Elite-level rehabilitation programs and functional medicine practitioners prioritize TA activation because research shows it is the first muscle that should engage before any movement occurs. We are activating the diaphragm, the transverse abdominis, and the pelvic floor. Here is how to perform the Deep Core Activator. You can do this lying on your back, on the floor, or your bed, with your knees bent and feet flat. This is the easiest position to learn the movement. Place one hand on your chest and the other hand on your belly, just below your belly button. R. Close your eyes and tune into your breath. San. Take a slow, deep breath in through your nose. As you inhale, focus on expanding your belly and your rib cage sideways. Your belly should rise, but your chest should remain relatively still. This is diaphragmatic breathing. S. Now, the activation part. Exhale slowly and completely through your mouth, as if you are blowing out candles through a straw. S. Gently draw your belly button in toward your spine. Imagine you are tightening that internal corset around your torso. Leber lil. The contraction should be subtle. This is not a forceful sucking in. You should feel the area under your belly hand become firm. But your chest should remain relatively still. You should feel the area under your belly hand become firm. Ba. Inhale slowly again, releasing the contraction and allowing your belly to expand. Dio. Repeat this sequence 10 times. And diaphragmatic breathing has the added benefit of calming the nervous system. You will build true, functional core strength that protects your spine during everyday activities. Inhale slowly again, as this movement also activates the pelvic floor. And diaphragmatic breathing has the added benefit of calming the nervous system, reducing stress and cortisol levels. They are not flashy. To ensure you are activating the TA correctly, to ensure you are activating the TA correctly, you should feel a gentle tension under your fingers. To ensure you are activating the TA correctly, you are bracing with the superficial muscles. To ensure you are activating the TA correctly, you are bracing with the superficial muscles. They are not flashy. They don't require expensive equipment or complicated choreography, reducing stress and cortisol levels. These are deceptively simple movements that have an extraordinary impact on how you age, reducing stress and cortisol levels. We are reminding your brain how to communicate with the silent heroes of your mobility, the deep stabilizers. These are deceptively simple movements that have an extraordinary impact on how you age. After 50, these are deceptively simple movements that have an extraordinary impact on how you age. It's not about pushing yourself to exhaustion or risking injury. It's about aging smarter, not harder. It's about consistency, not harder. It's about consistency. This approach, it's about consistency. This approach, it's about consistency. Remember a few key principles. It's about consistency. Consistency is far more important than intensity. It's about consistency. Consistency is far more important than intensity. If you feel any pain, consistency is far more important than intensity. If you feel any pain, it is a signal that something is wrong. If you feel any pain, especially when starting out. If you feel any pain, especially when starting out. If you have any pre-existing health conditions or concerns, especially when starting out. If you have any pre-existing health conditions or concerns, especially when starting out. If you have any pre-existing health conditions or concerns. The postural reset. If you have any pre-existing health conditions or concerns. And the deep core activator. Together. 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 And the deep core activator. The path of passive aging leads to stiffness, pain. The path of passive aging leads to stiffness, pain. The path of passive aging leads to stiffness. You can choose to take proactive control of your health. You can choose to invest just a few minutes each morning in movements that revitalize your body and mind. Getting older is inevitable. You can choose to invest just a few minutes each morning in movements that revitalize your body and mind. Getting older is inevitable. You can choose to invest just a few minutes each morning in movements that revitalize your body and mind. Getting older is inevitable. Choose confidence. You can choose to take proactive control of your health. Choose confidence. Choose strength. Choose confidence. I'd love to hear from you. Which of these 5 movements surprised you the most? And your feedback helps us create content that truly serves you. You can choose to invest just a few minutes each morning in movements that revitalize your body and mind. I read every one. And your feedback helps us create content that truly serves you. Choose strength.